That's true. People have very strange tastes.
They do.
So
Don't I know it?
you get cinema brings this romantic notion of a vampire to life with a person who other people can relate to. So you have Nosferatu. Then in the later you have the old Hollywood vampires. You've got Bela Lugosi and
Was Lon Chaney ever one?
Do you know? I don't know. Possibly.
I know he was, given the name Man of a Thousand Faces or whatever.
He dealt with a lot of Universal horror films, so it's very possible. That's where most people's primary Halloween idea of vampires comes from. It's the 40s Universal movies. You've got the suit, you've got the cross pendant, you've got the back-swept hair and the fangs and the white, the widow's peak and the coffin and the garlic and the bats. That's
Grandpa Munster.
Grandpa Eddie Munster. You've got the very stereotypical vampire. Well, that stays in place for a very, very long time. It's resuscitated even when the new editions of Dracula are made. The Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman, who is very dapper, and they upgraded his costume a little bit. He has the whole Victorian, very clean and almost dandyish look to him, because he's supposed to be an enticing figure, and they made his costume a little more historically accurate because people learned about research. But he's still the same vampire, elegantly dressed. He's still got the pail and the glasses, so that wasn't broken. That mold wasn't broken until Anne Rice's books became movies. Of course, everybody knows Louis and Lestat. They're extremely well known. These lavish, well-dressed, completely dapper. I don't understand where this obsession with being very dandyish comes from, but it works for vampires, partly because they appeal to both sexes that way. A male vampire doesn't exclusively prey on women. You have to be able to work both ways, and I think that's how vampires have always been. At the same time, there's something very animalistic and ferocious about them, which appeals to everybody on a baser level. So we've got this finely dressed animal, which everyone loves. It's a great idea. So people's perception of vampires radically changed because of that movie.
Except for Kirsten Dunst, I still hate her.
That's hilarious. So
can you tell us some about the new twists that people have been kind of adding to the legend and myth of it that's maybe come out more recently?
Unfortunately, the recent twists haven't been added, they've been taken away. The Twilight vampires are the most reductionary vampires of all. Theoretically, they need blood, although we never see them drink or eat blood. But they have no fangs. The sun doesn't affect them in any way other than to make them sparkle. They're still very attractive, but who cares? They have no allure.
Yeah.
There's only the tragedy of living for thousands of... Who cares? Nobody cares. I don't care about those vampires. They don't suffer. They don't have any mystery to them at all.
There's also been a few movies that have been made where, quote-unquote, the disease of vampirism has been cured by either shots or medicines.
I think that those movies are a reaction to more recent zombie films, which theoretically, if you think about it, they're both undead, and zombies are really what have become more predominant lately. Obviously, George Romero started the whole thing with zombies because before that they were brainless monsters. That's why people like monsters so much. It's when you take a brainless monster and give it a personality, give it intrigue, give it mystery, give it anything. Vampires are very attractive. Zombies are...
should have done.
What?
I said that's what George Bush should have done. They should have given him a better personality.
Yes. It helps. You just have to create a mystery and a reason beyond being a mindless monster. So for zombies, the same thing happened. They gave them a political background. They gave them some kind of drive. They became representative of something more than a shambling monster. And en masse, they become a true threat, which... essentially is what has happened to vampires. People saw the zombie template and they took it and moved it over to vampires. So for them, it's a lot more interesting. Now vampires are, the idea that you can cure something like that is intriguing to people because it gives you an out. Everyone enjoys the romance of the idea of never dying and having unending life.
Until you realize you
never die, and your tragedy, and it's horrible. So a solution to tragedy is the hubris of America in the 20th century. We want everything to have a happy ending. So the only way to give a vampire a happy ending is to cure him, because killing, even a merciful killing, is not as interesting. Well, honestly, nobody believes in vampires these days unless they are one. but
True.
like me. But you know, it's again an imagined reality, and they're using vampires as a parable for something else, which is done often. You know, why won't my mom accept me? I'm a vampire. It's the same kind of idea. It's the same as a vampire-human romance. It's something new to be forbidden. The world's moved past a lot of previous taboos, and that one's still, it's a taboo that's breakable. You know, you'll never see a show that's all like, woo, incest, because that's still a cultural taboo that I hope we never get
The West
past.
Virginia Comedy Hour.
Why? What do you have against West Virginia today?
West Virginia is for lovers. That's all I have to say.
Cousins.
Wow.
Can you tell us about this supposed blood feud between vampires and werewolves?
I have nothing against werewolves. Some of my best friends are werewolves. I just want to make that clear right up in the front.
Good Lord.
You have to remember physics. Mass for mass.
True.
Even if you achieve the ability to change your shape, it has to retain the same amount of mass and energy. So a vampire could... I think I just broke a fang.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What kind of dentistry program do you have?
Super glue. It's very important. Regular brushing. Regular dentists don't seem to want to deal with this. What can you do? You know, whatever. There are certain companies that will deal with vampires. You can get permanent fangs if it is what you want. They're very expensive. I know there's a center in Florida that deals with it. But myself, super glue seems to work pretty well. It's no different than wearing nails for a human. All nails are a remnant of our past when we had to fight with our hands. So long nails essentially are a symbol of fierceness, which humans will glue them on. So a true vampire might glue on fangs as a symbol of their ferocity and as a symbol of their old blood. I'm going to take the other one.
So, let's see. I guess to summarize everything, what is the one thing that you wish that everybody would know about vampires, or...
Basically, just please remember that vampires are people too, okay? We have wants, needs, dreams, terrible jobs, you know, friends, people we hate, just like anybody else. The only difference is, you know, you can't order your food at McDonald's yet. Time's coming. Time's coming.
Well, Richard, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that wraps it up. Thank you for spending your time with us. And
yes, definitely want to give Brittany a hand. Ooh, look, honey, did you see my new shoes? I got them at Woolworth today. Aren't they spiffy?
wow, honey, those sure are swell.
Yes, indeed.
I hope you didn't pay too much for them. You know, with this economy, the way things are going, we don't get the money like we used to.
Oh, it's fine. They were only $5, you know. I do love a bargain. Oh, boy. So, what have you got planned for today?
Well, I'm just gonna go to work, you know, my usual 9 to 5, and then maybe have a beer after work with the guys, and then take a leisurely stroll home to see my pretty wife.
You live such a wonderful life. Isn't it amazing? Oh,
don't we all live in this great here country of ours, the US of A?
Oh, quick, what time is it, dear?
Oh, it's about 8:30.
Oh, it's time for the president's radio address. We have to listen before you go.
You mean Roosevelt's fireside address?
I do. I'm turning on the radio now.
I sure look forward to it. It sets my day off right.
Oh, fabulous.
Ooh, he sure has a lot of things going for this country of ours. He has something called the New Deal he's working on. I wonder what that entails.
That's establishments.
I don't know.
So great.
That's dangerous. New change. I don't know if I'm ready for change.
The old reliance upon free action of individuals.
Sounds like he wants to institute some programs.
That organized
Something called a Works Progress Administration, where he'll institute Social Security and for all the poor people who can't afford health care, and create jobs, and an SEC to look over the stockbrokers, and Fannie Mae for the college students for loans. He does have a plan. It says that foreclosures